Hey, good morning, everyone. Can you hear me okay? If you can, just give me like a thumbs up. All right, perfect. Thank you, Meredith. Thank you, Minna. Thank you, Cecilia. Celia, thank you so much. Appreciate that. So today we're going to walk you through several things just to get you ready for that online instruction that we are very anxious and concerned about because we know that there's a lot to do, and we also know that how NTI wasn't what we really wanted. So I want to walk you through some things today, and I'm going to look over here to my left and admit people as they try to get on. So if you see me doing that, please ignore me. I'm just going to keep on going. So here we go. So first thing, this is our agenda today. And I know it's a lot on there, but some of you already know, but I hope to take you into a deep dive of Zoom to help you kind of learn how to do a little bit more with making sure that runs well with your class and with you in your classroom. So we'll go into Mentimeter. We'll talk about that a little bit. We'll talk about the help and support services that you have and that your parents have. It's all in one place, which I don't know that that's the case in Fayette County. I will give you access to this slide deck at the end so you can make a copy of it and do what you want, but I kind of want you focused with me so that we can kind of get this through here together. And if you have questions, put it in the chat. We will definitely take some breaks throughout this morning, and I will answer those questions the best that I can when we come back from a break. All right, so after we do that, we'll talk about physical classroom setup. You may already have a setup that you like, but I'm just going to share some ideas that maybe you can say, hey, I might try that. Then we'll talk about Zoom. We'll go to YouTube, and I will show you how to upload videos. And that may be a scary thing for you to do, but that's okay. We're going to walk you through it. It's pretty simple, just as long as you get past the learning curve, and that's why I'm here. I'm here to help you get past those learning curves. All right, then we'll talk about Google Classroom. And I'm going to see how many of you have actually gone through the self-paced course in just a minute, just to kind of give you an idea of where we are with that and what your understanding of Google Classroom is. All right. So it's a lot to do, but we're going to break it down. We'll have time to get everything done. All right, so Mentimeter is just a free polling format that you can use. When we have Zoom, you will have a poll feature there that you can use as well. I like Mentimeter better because it gives you more options. Zoom is pretty plain, simple, and generic, okay, at least from what I can see. Mentimeter is like the fun stuff. It's the word clouds. It's doing graphing to see what the students have, what they like. The free account only gives you 2 questions, but you can make as many presentations as you want. So in this example, I'm going to show it to you. For you as a teacher to get started, you would go to Mentimeter.com, okay? Now, as a participant or as a student, there's a different link. So here we go. I'm going to show you what that looks like. All right, so it just creates 2 slides for you, and I have a question here, and I'm going to go to present. So on your end, if what you would do, if you would go to menti.com, just open up a new tab on your laptop, Chromebook, or computer, whatever you're using, go to menti.com and type in this code right here. It's 8339581. And here's some questions for you to answer. How proficient are you at using Google Classroom? And you'll just choose one of these 4 options. Google who? Google what? What are we talking about? I used Classroom some last year. I finished the Google Classroom self-paced course. Or, hey, I'm amazing at Classroom. Really, I am. And that's okay. If you are, mark it. All right, so we got some polling coming in. That's awesome. We have about 33 people today, so we're going to let this cook for a while. It looks in the bottom right-hand corner. I have about 10 people that have answered so far. We'll let that get up to at least about 22 or so, and then we'll shut it off. Okay. So when I first took this job, by the way, I'm Jerry Broyles. I think y'all probably knew that. You've probably seen me somewhere before. And when I first took this job, I remember my question from Amy Johns when I was in I was getting grilled on what I knew. She asked me about SharePoint. She said, how good are you at SharePoint? And well, I had worked at Beaumont for, 6 years as a TRT, and I'm like, hey, I'm like at 8 or 9 because I know SharePoint. Well, it was funny because when I got this job, they gave me SharePoint to administer for the entire district. I'm like, well, that's different. So really, my answer, an 8 or 9, was wrong. I was more like a 4 because I didn't know what I didn't know. So I think today you'll probably be in that same situation with some of the things that I'll show you. That hey, you may have thought that you knew Zoom and all the ins and outs, but maybe I'll show you a few things that you didn't know. So I hope to show you that. So we're at 24, and it looks like I used Classroom. Some last year was the highest number of people that responded here. And we have a few that says, I'm really good at Classroom. That's awesome. I love that. And it looks like 6 of you have finished the self-paced course. Okay, perfect. That's great. And we had 26 people participate out of 33, so that's pretty good. All right, that's great feedback. Thank you. All right, let's go to the next question. Here we go. And I say that and it doesn't go. So hold on just a second. We'll go back. So I'll click on the other slide. And this is a word cloud. So we'll go to that. So present. So again, go to menti.com, use the same code, and you may see that pop up on your screen automatically. Do you? If you do, thumbs up for some of you. All right, perfect. So what technology are you most concerned about heading into distance learning? So this may be a technology app. Maybe it's Wi-Fi. Maybe it's getting your kids to use the right stuff. Maybe it's Chromebooks across the district. What is it that concerns you the most about heading into distance learning? Video, Chromebooks, Wi-Fi, yep. Okay, all big concerns. Taping lessons. Webcam, how to troubleshoot. Yes, how to troubleshoot. Yes, that's what we'll talk about today for sure. Google Classroom, logging into accounts. Video, yeah. Video's the big one there. I totally understand that. All right, Google Classroom's getting a lot more hits now. Students' knowledge, and we'll talk about that because, we expect, sometimes we expect students to know more than they do. And I don't think that you all probably think that, but I think our middle school teachers think that a lot, that kids should know how to do things already. I think that elementary teachers have a better handle on that. I was from the middle school, so I get that on both ends. So, all right, Wi-Fi, digital lessons, ebooks, okay. Google Meet, yeah. So, our district has purchased Zoom and Screencastify, so that's what we're covering today pretty heavily. Google Meet, we will talk about Google Meet, and I am not a fan, and I hope you don't think less of me for saying that, but I'm not a fan of Google Meet yet. There are some updates that are coming out, and I think it'll be a lot better if when those updates do come out. But again, that's in the future, and we have to deal with what we have right here in front of us. So that's what we're going to do today. All right, perfect. Okay, thanks, guys. All right, so that was Mentimeter. That may be something that you want to try with your kids. Really easy to do. You create a free account, and you get 2 slides for presentation and all that. Okay. All right. Let's see. All right, perfect. All right, let me hop out of there. Take that right back where it's from. Okay, here we go. So I kind of thought, you all point out some really good things that I hadn't thought of, such as, using Chromebooks with the kids, which we'll touch on a lot, and maybe ebooks and a few other things. But I think I kind of have a good grasp on what you need to know, and hopefully you'll get a lot of that today. So this is the deal. And I did a presentation for our math teachers, our middle school and high school math teachers last week. And they were so anxious and just caught up in the moment and everything going on, and I totally get it. I think that you all will have an easier time because a lot of you have already used Google Classroom. Many of them are learning Canvas, and Canvas is kind of a beast. It's a beast to learn if you haven't heard some of the teachers talk about it. It's a lot to learn. It's a great platform to use, but it takes a while to learn it. Classroom is a lot easier, but there is some troubleshooting that I'm going to share with you today that hopefully will get you through some of the things that kind of works out kind of hinky. Not the best that we want for Google Classroom, but it's just what it is. So here's what you need to know for distance learning. I hope I kind of pared this down for you. You need to know your grade level content. Okay, for you experienced teachers, you got this. There's no problem, you know it. Number 2, meeting software, Zoom. We're gonna use Zoom and talk about that. After today, I hope you have a really good handle on it. You may wanna try Zooming with your other teachers, okay? I know you have friends in the building. Zoom back and forth and try things out, okay? One person hosts the meeting, one person is a participant. Try them all out, troubleshoot them, see if you can mute a person, see if you can remove a person, see what happens, okay? I know that in middle school and high school, we really like that remove feature that Zoom has. In elementary, hopefully there's not that many issues where you'd have to remove a student, but you can mute them and you can also turn off the video, which is a really helpful feature if you need to do that. The teacher needs to be in control, and Zoom gives you those features to do that. Okay, we don't want to go in that direction ever, but sometimes if we have to, we feel the need, then sometimes that's there for us. All right, screen instruction and recording software. We'll talk about Screencastify. We'll also talk about some other dot camera software setups that you could have in your classroom that could help. Google Classroom trainings will continue until, well, what that means is, as our department, I'm part of the Office of Instructional Technology Department. There's 5 of us. One of us is on maternity leave until the end of September, I think. So we're a little short and it's a little crazy. But we're going to be doing trainings online for several weeks into the school year, okay? We also have recordings of those. I'll show you where those are in just a minute. So if you caught on to Google Classroom today when we get through the end of it, that's great. If you need a little bit more instruction, then I'll show you where you can find that. All right, you need to know your platforms. Now, I know there's ConnectEd, there's Wonders, there's Envision, there's all kinds of different labels out there for the things that you all go into. There's been a lot of conversation about how does Wonders tie into Google Classroom. For me, what I've seen, it doesn't do a whole lot. It may present an assignment automatically that you can create and a link for students to get to, but it doesn't do a whole lot more than that from what I've seen. So we're seeing the same thing with Canvas. Canvas does not give, like the Easy Bridge or Envision that we looked at yesterday for the pre-algebra and algebra content, it doesn't seem to be much better. So you may have your kids actually pop out into Wonders, and that's okay. Remember, Google Classroom is really a bunch of links. Okay, it makes you, it deploys those links and sends you to either a doc or a slide deck or out to a website or maybe to take a quiz or something. But that's pretty much all it is. It doesn't do a whole lot more than that. Okay, the last one, I left it unchecked because that's probably not what you may have some of these tools in your wheelhouse, but if you're getting caught up in, oh my goodness, I have to learn Flipgrid and ThingLink, and I have to do Adobe Spark and all these other things, those things will come. And also, we don't want to overwhelm our kids with a lot of new tools the first week of school, or the second week, or even the third. They need to get used to Google Classroom, getting comfortable with it, learning how to use Zoom, and they also will have a license to use Screencastify. So I don't know if you knew that or not, but they'll be able to make videos as well, okay? So now Zoom, that's just for the teachers and the staff, not for the kids, okay, our licensing that is. But we will have licensing for Screencastify for staff and students, okay? So that's a huge plus for them. But please, make it easy on yourself, make it easy on the kids, let them get used to you and learning how to use Classroom and learning how to use Zoom, okay? And then if you want to start with some of the platforms with Wonders, yes, start getting them into those first. But all the other tools, those will come. Don't stress it. All right, here's how you can get help, all right? I'm going to go through this. I know that you all are familiar with our NTI site. I'm just going to click on that real quick, and I'm going to get out of here just a little bit. Come on now, a little bit more. There we go. My computer, as of everything else, is running a little bit slow. It's always that case, right? You never say, oh, my computer's running really fast. That's great. You never say that. You always say, oh, my computer's running slow. So this is our NTI site, and these are the resources that we've had. And if you've noticed, you should have gotten an email talking about our live learning schedule for this week. It's also right here at NTI site. And the bit.ly for this, oh, I don't know if I put that on there or not. I didn't. I'm just going to type that in there real quick. Yep, the bit.ly. It's, let's see, bit.ly/FCPS-NTI. So that was the bit.ly for that, so you can get there quickly. Let me resize that a little bit. All right, that's pretty good. Perfect. So here's our homepage for this website. The live learning schedule is right here. It's one of the tabs. You have to be logged into your Fayette County account to see this, which most of us are all the time now. But these are the sessions that are going on this week. So Tuesday, we don't have anything going on until 10 o'clock, but there's a Canvas session. There's a Creating Effective Assignments in Google Classroom session. And a lot of these will be repeated this week and next week. So if you didn't catch them the first time, they'll be back, right? Now over here is teacher resources. If you go to maybe like Google Tools, you're going to see a ton, and it's overwhelming amount of stuff here. And we're going to work on trying to clean this up a little bit. And some of these videos, some are just fine because nothing has changed since the spring, but some of them need to be redone, and we're doing that as well. So most of these are really up to speed and they're current, but you can check through here if you want to learn more about Google Forms. We have for beginners, we have auto-graded. We have so many different slide decks and videos that you can watch. And maybe you just have those running in the background while you're doing something else, and you just catch bits and pieces of it as you need. But if you want to, if you learned everything that you want to know today, you're like, hey, I got this, I'm ready to go on to Flipgrid, then you can go to other online tools, learn about Adobe Spark, Desmos, Edpuzzle, Flipgrid, all of these are here. So a lot of information, don't want to overwhelm you. But again, if you need help, it's right there. Okay, let's go back. Now, there's self-paced courses that you can go through. Some of you noted that you had already gone through the Google Classroom one. Let's see, 6 of you did. So that is right there. You just self-enroll and you take it as you need it. You just go through the course when you're ready. There's one on Screencastify and one on Zoom as well. And those are all created by FCPS OIT people. There's a live learning schedule that I showed you. Oh, and at the top is office hours. I did not show you that, but that link is, yep, right here. It's linked to join office hours, is on the front page. And if you have a question about Google Classroom, we are monitoring that 8 o'clock to 3:30 every day, Monday through Friday. So you will talk to one of us, me, Paula, Julie, Josh, whoever it may be, maybe Amy one day, but we're monitoring those, and it's first come, first serve. Typically, we only have 1 or 2 people in there at a time, okay? So great help for you right there. All right, then there's the FCPS OIT YouTube channel. We have hundreds of videos there. You can just search for what you're looking for, and hopefully you'll find something you want. Then there's our support request email account. Now, you can email us directly. We are monitoring that. We love it better when you get into our office hours, because then we can Zoom with you and you can share your screen, and it just works out a little bit better. But if you have something, maybe it's after hours or something, and you're like, I really need to find some help, maybe possibly one of us will answer that at night. Actually, we do. We're working quite a few hours here. So you can use that support email request account too. All right. All right, then next, if you're having equipment issues, then here's your help desk tickets. This is the address to get there. If you want to call the help desk because you're having issues with your password or logging in, or maybe you have a student teacher who's actually working with you, they can call right here. These are the hours. This is when school starts. Now, they're doing it right now, but these are the hours for when school starts. I think they're doing it like 8 to 5 right now, okay? But it'll have extended hours when school starts. Then for parents, if you have parents that contact you and are like, I can't get my son on Zoom, okay, you can try your magic, but if your magic isn't working that day because you didn't go to Hogwarts and get your diploma, then you can have them call this number right here, 381-4410. And again, this slide deck, you can make a copy of it later if you want, okay? So it's all this information is there for you. Okay, I'm going to try to stop talking so fast and slow down a little bit. I know we have 2.5 hours, but it always seems to fly. So here are some ideas, and I know that you all have seen these Bitmoji classrooms. We have videos and slide decks to show you how to create some. But I had a teacher that asked me, what are some setups that we could have in our classroom to help us out with distance learning? So I'm going to walk you through those, and maybe you've already figured out, hey, I'm going to do this. But do y'all have smart boards and maybe IFPs in your classroom? No, not so much. Some smart boards, okay. Or whiteboards anyway. What I'm thinking is that some of you may want to record yourself in front of a big screen or in front of a whiteboard showing them something on a whiteboard. So here's some options for you, okay? Here's the first one. It's option number 1. So it says, teacher uses desktop computer with webcam, Chromebook, or laptop. So that's probably a typical setup. Here, if you have a document camera, you have it connected, you can use your document camera in a Zoom meeting, okay? A lot of the software, like if you have an Elmo, then it has like ImageMate that you can open up, and you can show that as an app inside a Zoom meeting. I know that Ladybug, this is a Ladybug document camera, it has its own software. So anything that you want to write on paper or show as a diagram or something like that, you can use your document camera, and I will show you how to use that in Zoom in just a minute, okay? So here's an option. Here's another option. If you have an IFP or a smart board, okay, you can always take your Chromebook. If you're working with a Chromebook, you can extend that and have a bigger screen. If you're not happy with the size of the screen that you have in front of you with a Chromebook, you can get the bigger screen and just clone the two, mirror the two. So that's an option. If you want to use that option, all you need is an HDMI cable. Okay, it's a big, long, 15-foot cable. I don't know, costs like $11 or $12 on Amazon, but you probably might be able to find some around the building. All right, here's another option. Now this one is something that you may want to think about seriously, because it's different than what we normally think of. If you have a Chromebook or a laptop, you can record using Screencastify whatever you're doing on the board. If you want to show something on the whiteboard, or maybe it's your smart board with the projector going on, whatever it may be, you can record using your Chromebook with Screencastify, and I'll show you that later today too. It's easy to do. Screencastify creates that video for you that you want, and it's easy for you to post for the kids. You're going to want to do things differently. I mean, you're not going to be stuck to the computer every day doing the same thing on Zoom. You want to get out into your classroom and kind of have that regular instruction feel and make recordings for your kids to see. Okay, why? Because that produces a different dynamic for you. I'm a much different person, different teacher on Zoom than I am inside a classroom, and I know that you all are too. Okay, so again, the kids need to see that personality come out, and this is a great way to do that. All right, then this setup, this is probably my favorite, and this is only if you have an IFP, pretty much, an interactive flat panel screen. But it's where you just have a table, and everything that you have connected, like the document camera would be connected to your IFP, and you just have like a wireless keyboard and so forth, and you have like a webcam. So just some ideas, and maybe you don't have all that equipment at Booker T, but you know, maybe it's coming, or maybe some teachers have that equipment, some others don't. Okay. All right, so I'm going to try a Zoom poll here. Oh, I have other people to admit. Here they are. They're coming. All right, I'm going to try a Zoom poll here and see what we get. So let's go to polls. And I'm going to launch a poll here, and let's see how this works. I have never done this before, so it's bound to break. So here we go. We're going to try it out. So I'm going to launch a poll and see what we got. Do y'all see a poll on your screen? Do you? Okay, perfect. So the first one, which distance learning presentation option would you like to use during online learning? And we'll go through this again. And what has been the most, oh, I haven't done that yet. Number 2, we'll answer that later. So let's just answer question number 1 here, if it lets you, okay? Maybe you have to answer both, I don't know. We'll try it out. So here's the options again. So number 1, I'll move this over here to the side, was this guy. Number 2 was a mirror of the Chromebook and the big screen. And number 3 was recording yourself using a Chromebook and seeing what you're doing on the whiteboard or on the big screen to show the kids. And then number 4 was having the big IFP, and maybe you don't have that set up. So you have to answer both to submit. Ah, okay, bummer. Well, I tried that and now I've learned my lesson. So answer the first one authentically, and then number 2, you can answer whatever you want. We'll see what we get. All right, we have 8 people responding so far. That's pretty good. So I will have to learn how you can present one question at a time. That is on my list of things to do right there. All right, we have about 23 people responded. I'm writing down my list of things to do. All right, so we have about 25 people responded, and yeah, option number 3 is a great option. You know, I just set it up. You know, I did a Bitmoji classroom with a box on top of a table. You all probably have a much better way of figuring that out, but you want that height to be correct, and it's easy to do with a Chromebook, and it's a great way just to videotape yourself without having a video camera or anything else necessarily. All right, perfect. All right, that was fun. I like that. So let's end polling here. All right, share results. Let's see what that does. So I can share the results. Can y'all see the results now? I guess you can see that, okay? Yep, perfect. All right, so option number 3 had 68%. Y'all are awesome. That's great. All right, stop sharing results, and I'll end that. Okay, perfect. So I'm gonna go back. We'll go to our next topic here, and that's recording your instructions. So, and by the way, the polling feature in Zoom, that comes with a paid license. So when we get our licenses for Zoom, which is coming, we don't know when yet, it's coming though, then you'll be able to do that and breakout rooms. So we're not going into breakout rooms, talking about that today. I think that's a little bit down the road. It's a little bit more complicated to deal with, but that will be a session later on that you can learn how to do if you want with your kids. And maybe your kids are too young to do breakout rooms. They could be. That's totally an option. All right, so let's talk about Zoom meeting and recording. So Dante asks, will the microphone from the Chromebook pick the teacher up clearly if using option 3? Yeah, we've actually done like YouTube live videos where we record the entire class, and like maybe the teacher is conducting an orchestra concert or something, or maybe they're just talking up front, and we'll have the Chromebook all the way in the back of the room, and it picks up audio really well, surprisingly well. Yeah. All right, so Zoom meeting and record. So fun facts. You have to log in with your Google credentials. Chromebooks can only record to the cloud with a paid account. So we know that you want to record. When we get that paid account, you can use your Chromebook and record it, okay? It will record to the cloud, and then you'll open it up in the cloud, and then you'll have to download it. And that's okay. We'll walk you through some of that. But after you've downloaded it, then you need to delete it from the cloud. From what I understand, we will have like a district amount of storage in the cloud for our Zoom. We can't let it get cluttered up, okay? We can't let people just leave their recordings there forever. So we want you to record to the cloud if you need to with a Chromebook, and then you download it to your Google Drive, and then you just delete it from the cloud, and then you're done. Now, laptops and desktops, you can record to the local machine with a free count, and you get 40 minutes worth of recording. Okay, that's good stuff right there. That will get you through until we get our Zoom licenses out for everybody. Now that means on your desktop, or on your PC, or on your MacBook, or whatever you're using, just not a Chromebook. All right. Now, over here, we're going to talk about this a little bit more because we just came out with some more information about Zoom meetings and recording them. You've probably heard or seen on Facebook where you're not supposed to record Zoom meetings and post them because of FERPA. That's not exactly the case. So we're going to give you some good news about that later on, okay? Now, if your kiddos are having trouble with Zoom, and this may be one of the first things that you want to send out in your parent emails that you're sending out or newsletters or how you're getting, yeah, Cassie, yes, exactly, yay. I'm so glad for Zoom. And us, that's going to be awesome. You can send them to this link and that will let them test their equipment. Yeah, so if, get this done, hopefully before school starts, y'all have a whole week, send it out to the parents and then they just go to that link right there and that'll be perfect. They'll test out their equipment, then they'll be ready for you to roll whenever you meet with them, either Wednesday or whatever day you're meeting with them. Okay. All right, now this is polling feature, and I just showed you my epic fail of giving you 2 questions at once when you weren't ready for 2 questions. So this is just a Zoom video, and I'm not going to show it to you today, but that's how you can do some polling. I would think that you might like Mentimeter a little bit better because I think that was a little bit prettier. Didn't you think so? I thought it was. So the polling that we did this morning, I thought the nice graph and the word cloud was cool. Zoom is very generic. So anyway, students can take polls on a Chromebook. Teachers must use a PC or Mac for polls. So you can't do it on a Chromebook as a teacher. All right. And then students cannot annotate on a Chromebook. Annotations is where they can draw on top of a Zoom video. And I've had that actually turned off for most of my conferences and sessions that I've done. But it lets you draw on top of things. So, all right, let's go to the next one. So did you know that you can share a whiteboard in Zoom? Yep. Did you know that you can share an iPhone or an iPad in Zoom? It's true. And you can share your document camera image in Zoom. It's right. So because we're in Zoom, I can't show you those features because Zoom doesn't like it when you open up 2 Zooms. So I have this video here for you to watch, and I'm going to make that really big for us to see. So here we go. Let's see down here. Let me click on this, make it a little bit bigger. Hey everyone, I'm just going to show you a few short. Yeah, and that is my mug shot, and you get to see that, but you can see what the Zoom steps look like for recording your screens. And I'll turn off my audio for my mic right now, so you can. Hey everyone, I'm just going to show you a few short tips here on how you can share different screens in Zoom. It's going to be really helpful for you when you're doing your distance learning. So I'm going to go down here to my toolbar and click on Share Screen. And you can see my 3 different monitors that I have that I'm using on my computer right now. But there's also a whiteboard feature here. So I'm going to click on it and click on Share. And I can use my mouse to go ahead and draw. And I can use it to actually create equations and so forth that I can solve and walk my kids through, in real time. Okay, so you can do that. Now, it's not the easiest thing to use, but it works if you're in a desperate need of something really quick. Now, I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing that. And I'm going to show you something else that I found that I thought was a little bit easier to use. And it's this iPhone iPad share screen right here. So I'm going to click on that. And I'll click Share. And I have an iPad. And so on my iPad, I'm going to open it up. And you type in the passcode here. And it says to connect to the Wi-Fi that I have in my house, and then tap screen mirroring, which I'm going to do. And then I'll look for Zoom Jerry. Okay, so I'll look for that, click on it, and now you can see my iPad and I'm mirroring it. Okay, pretty easy to do, really easy. Now, I have this app and it's called Show Me, and I think that's going to be really helpful for some of us as we're leading our kids through Zoom and trying to do some instruction with them. Now I have a little pin here. It has this little nub at the top of it, and I'm using that instead of my finger just because it's a little bit easier to point and it's a little bit more accurate. So I can go through here and I can choose different colors. I can choose black, green, blue, whatever. I'm going to choose some red here, and I'm going to choose this right here as something a little bit smaller to see what kind of size I want for my mark. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and start this. So that's a little bit easier for me to use. And I can go back and redraw that if I need to. And I can solve an equation. And this is easy for the kids to see as well. Notice you're seeing everything pretty much with no delay at all right on the screen. All right, and there's my answer. I can also go over here at the top and I can scroll to a different page if I want. And maybe I'm doing geometry or something. And maybe they need to solve for this, you know, who knows, whatever it may be that you're working on. Okay, so that was called, and I can save this. I can actually do a little bit more with this. I can save it as an image. I can save it and come back and work on it if I want, but I'm not going to do any of that right now. So if I want to show any other apps, I can do that as well that I have on my iPad right here, but I'm going to go ahead and close this out. I've got one more thing that I want to show you. So if I go back to share screen again, and this isn't nearly as cool, but if I go to advanced, if you have your document camera set up, you should be able to go ahead and show what you're doing on your document camera right here inside of Zoom. Now, I don't have a document camera attached, but that should be something that you're able to do on your end. Okay. All right, so that was it. That was some great ways that you can share your screen just instead of just sharing a monitor that you have on your computer. Take care. Okay, so hopefully that was pretty helpful for you. I bet that your school probably has some iPads somewhere. Maybe you have a personal iPad that you could use, but let's see if I can get rid of this. There we go. Hey everyone, I'm just going to show you a few. Stop talking. Okay, perfect. So just an idea is that, you know, since you're in Zoom, I didn't have to lose any of my kids. They're all in the same Zoom meeting with me. I just went through a different way to share my screen. Instead of sharing the content that I have on my computer, I can share a document, something on a document camera, or I can even connect my phone or iPad if there's something that you want to show through there. Of course, it's, you know, instruction for your grade level and so forth, and there's probably a whole lot of different apps that you have in mind that will work on an iPad than I do. But that one was just a free app. I think it's called Show Me, easy to use, and you can see what I can do with it just with a free version. Okay. There's also Jamboard that you can get. Jamboard is a Google product, but it's also an app, and a lot of people really like using that as well. But having that on your iPad is pretty sweet to show kids something in real time if they have questions. All right. So now, setting up your meetings. Let's talk about that a little bit. You have probably become an expert in this, but I just want to share something else with you. When you have your Zoom meetings, you probably want to be a recurring meet with them. Now, there's an issue with that, that if it's a recurring meeting, I think you can't record it. Let me think about that. So, but you can try that out. You can look in the settings, and if you click on recurring meetings, you know, that's something that we can post in our Google Classroom, and that could be one of the first links that the kids see, and that's easy for them to get through the Zoom Meet. I would just have them go to Google Classroom every single time and say, okay, this is how we're going to meet today. There's a Zoom link that doesn't change. If it needs to change for some reason, you can always make it change inside the Google Classroom. That way you don't have to send out emails to the parents. The kids know where to go every time. It's easy to do. Now the scheduled meetings, I do those if I want a single recording. So if you want to record your Zoom Meet, then I would change that each day. Now we can talk about that a little bit more. In my, let me show you my Google Classroom, just so we can kind of be together here. This is my Google Classroom, and right up here is where my Zoom links are. Okay, really easy for the kids to get to every time. And if you have maybe a teacher who's maybe an instructional person that's helping kids, maybe with remediation, or maybe they're math remediation, or maybe they're a writing coach or whatever, if they want to help kids out that are in your classroom, maybe they can set up their own Zoom link, and then they can have like office hours, maybe from 2 to 2 to 3, or maybe from 9 to 10. They will help kids. The kids just drop in there on their own Zoom, and then the teacher, he'll help answer questions that they have. I think that's a good setup. It's pretty much the same setup that we have for office hours for teachers. We have certain hours that we monitor them. You all drop in with your questions, and we help you out the best we can. Okay? All right. Hope I'm not going too fast. Hope I'm not leaving anybody out. Hope it's good stuff for you so far. All right, this is Zoom and managing your session. Now, this is a paid account, so it looks a little bit different than what you may have with your free account. But here are the options that you have. For security, you can toggle the share screen. So if you toggle, you can toggle the share screen, chat, rename themselves, unmute themselves, all of that on and off. So if I click the security icon here, then I can allow my participants to share screen, chat, rename themselves, unmute themselves, whatever options make you feel better and work for you. If you don't want the kids to chat, you just turn it off. If you don't want them to unmute themselves because you don't want to be interrupted at the time, then they can't unmute. Okay, it turns them off. All right. Then polls, we just showed you what polls was. You can pause and stop your recording. So if you're going to take this recording and you want the instruction, for kids who didn't make the Zoom meeting, because it's not asynchronous or it's not synchronous at the time, or maybe they had something else that they had to do. If you want to record your Zoom meeting, do that, but pause it when there's dead time, or pause it when there's a lot of questions that maybe you're just getting a feel for how everybody's doing that day and you don't want to record that. So you can pause and stop your recording at will here on the toolbar. All right. Okay, now this is when, oh wait, I skipped one, hold on a second. All right, here we go. So this is how you can manage your session. If you notice at the beginning of my Zoom, I had a picture up there to let you know that this is the right place for you to be, okay? It had a little Bitmoji of me and my face. It had the title. I had some music going so you could check your audio. Those are things that you want to do to make the Zoom even better for your kids when they first come in, okay? So those options, if I go back here, hold on just a second. Right here, there's a little more button, okay? Once you click that, then you get these options right here. You can disable participants' annotation, which means they can't draw on it. Okay, that's probably a plus because you don't want them drawing on your Zoom. And then you can also share your computer sound, which is right here. So that's how you could hear the music, and it's also how you could hear the video that I showed. So that's really important for you to know. All right. All right. Now, this is for those kids, or maybe you have a Zoom bomber for whatever reason. We put Zoom links in a secure place so that we don't have Zoom bombers, okay? You do have to admit your kids into Zoom. But maybe it's, you're going so fast, you're admitting kids, you're like, okay, I just got to admit all these kids because there's 10 of them waiting, okay? That happens. But if somebody is in there that you do not want to be in the Zoom, you can remove them. Or if a child has too much background noise and they don't know that they're actually have their mic on, then you can mute that child. And it's really indiscriminately, really easy to do. You're just going to find their picture, okay? And whenever you find their picture, there's 3 little dots that show up, and then these option menus show right here, okay? Now, with Zoom, if you remove a student, they cannot get back into your meeting, ever. So if you're using the same link, you're gonna have to change that link if you want that student back in, okay? Because if you're using the same link today and then tomorrow and then the next day, they're going to get a message, looks like this. It says you're unable to join this meeting because you were previously removed by the host. Okay, denied, yep, nope. All right, now hopefully we'll never have to use those tools, right? We never have to, but they're there, okay? They're strong. They give you control that you need to run a good Zoom meeting, okay? Noah says you can change that feature so students can rejoin. I don't know how to do that. So Nova, maybe you can share with us how to do that during a break if you want to. Then I can learn something new too. All right, confidentiality. So let's talk about this. So let's go to here first. Down here in the slide deck notes, I have a little link for you. Let's see, hold on a second. There we go, okay. So this is brand new from the Fayette County Public Schools. Your SDC probably will send this out to you today or this week. And this is straight from Shelley Chatfield, being approved by her and 2 of our chiefs in the tech department and so forth. And just in essence, hosting and recording live sessions with students is permitted and not a FERPA violation. So everybody's good. You may use Google Meet or Zoom to record the meetings. And then down here, when you're posting the meetings, we want you to post them in Google Drive or OneDrive. You're like, OneDrive, what? You're probably saying, yeah, Google Drive. Okay, you can post them there, store them there, and then link from there. I'll show you how to do that in just a moment. Now, we know this. YouTube is awesome for playing videos. Google Drive is not awesome for playing videos. They often will buffer or lag just because it's not a great place to host videos. So if you want to put your video on YouTube, you can do that. You're going to make it unlisted, so it can't be searched, and then you're going to save it under your staff member Fayette County account. Okay? And then the links that you have to these videos will be posted in Google Classroom. All right? All right, so everybody should feel a sigh of relief that the district is behind us on doing the right job and a good job that we intend to do. All right. Now, here are some Zoom best practices for you. By the way, I should have shown you that at the slide deck at the bottom are those links to these 2 documents. The first one I showed here was just what we saw, and the second document is what I'm showing right here. This is just some best practices. We don't want to force students to have eye contact or show their video. They could be, very shy. They may not be happy with, the background that they have behind them. They may think that they may be cyberbullied or whatever. It's kind of a sad situation, but we never want to, we want to make sure that students feel comfortable in our Zoom meeting. So we really don't want them to think that they have to turn their video on if they don't want to do that. So here are just some things for you to go through and to think about as you're preparing for your Zoom lessons, okay? We want to respect their privacy, make sure that they're safe. And again, personally, they may be shy or anxious to be on the camera for sure. Now, we want to bring that out in them later on if we can, but they may go the whole time and not show their face or their camera. So, all right. Whew. I know this is a lot. We'll take a break in a few minutes. We'll give you guys a break and give me a break from talking so much. So here's the thing. If you have back-to-back recordings, and maybe this isn't such a big deal for elementary schools, but it is when you're presenting, and it is if you're in middle school, or if you have, maybe you're meeting with your 3rd grade class, and then you have a math session right after it that you're meeting with the entire grade level of 3rd grade, I don't know, or maybe a remediation Zoom meeting or whatever it may be. In those cases, you have back-to-back recordings. And what happens is, once you stop a Zoom meeting, then this little dialog box will pop up that it's converting that meeting to a recording. And it will want to run, and it won't let you start another Zoom meeting until it's finished. Well, that's not cool because you may just have 10 minutes between meetings, and this may take 15 minutes to fully go and convert. Well, what you have to do is this. You click on the Stop Converting, and once you do that, then inside your Windows Explorer, you know where Windows Explorer is. It's this little icon down here. It opens up all this good stuff right through here. And by the way, your Zoom recordings will be in Documents and then your Zoom folder. Okay? And that's where I have a ton of recordings. And then you'll see, so again, it's Documents inside my Zoom folder. There's the breadcrumbs right there to show you. And you just open up a folder, and you're going to look for that MP4. Ah, there's one right there. See? Double click to convert. I didn't let this one convert all the way. So I just need to double click on it, and then it will start converting again and finish. When it finishes, it will look like this one. I lied, not that one. Let me try a different one. Nope, not that one either. Hold on, let me find one. How about that one? Yeah, that one. It will have an MP4 file. Okay, that MP4 file is your recording. And if you want to get that into Google Drive, then I'll show you how to do that real quick. Hold on just a second. I'm going to open up my Google Drive here. And let's see. I have this folder. Where is it? Yep, hold on a second. Let me find a folder here. It's called junk. It just means that I can delete what's in there. It's okay. So I would go to New, and then I would go to File Upload, and then I would find that, I would go to Documents and Zoom. I'd find that folder that had that recording. And let's see, where was it? There's one right here. I would just click on the Zoom link right there and press Open. And when I do that, you can see over in the corner, it's uploading that item, okay? And so then it's going to be linked right here. So now I'm going to cancel that because I don't want it to do that, okay? Now, once you have that item, I will show you in Google Classroom how you can get it into Google Classroom in just a moment, okay? But it's just going to show up on your Google Drive. Yep, okay. All right, so again, if you're in between Zoom meetings, you have to press Stop Converting. When you're done with your Zoom meetings for the day, just go back to that Zoom recording. They're all time, date, and stamped. And then just double click these. It says double click to convert. Click that, and then it will start converting again, and it'll finish up. Okay? You'll see it. It'll be okay. If you get stuck, hammer us at office hours. Come see us, and we'll help you out really quickly on that. Okay. All right, and then this is just, you know, an idea of what I just showed you. You go to Documents, Zoom, and you find that folder you wanted and look for the MP4 file that is your recording. Hey everyone, I hope that gave you enough time to take a little break there. I'll just kind of go over some of the questions that are in the chat while we're waiting for people to get back on with us. So Cecilia asks, can we share can I share this PowerPoint? Yes, I will absolutely at the end. I'll give you the bit.ly address. You can make copies and you have all this good stuff for you. Then let's see, Nova, yeah, Nova found out that, yeah, you can turn that feature on and off, and she showed me where it was. So let me see if I can pop in here and show that as well. Yeah, so she was talking about, I said that you can't let students back in with the same link, and there is, yeah, so right here, this is in settings in Zoom. Allow remove participants to rejoin. I have that turned off, so that's why my wife couldn't get back in when I was using her as a guinea pig earlier, so that makes total sense. So I can turn that on and off, and you can too. Perfect, thank you so much, that's great. I love that. All right, and somebody had a question about connecting a MacBook to a smartboard. I am pretty sure that you can do that. However, I haven't done that before. So when I was at Beaumont, we connected everybody to a smartboard, and we only did it with a PC. So I don't know if there's issues that you can run into. I do know that the MacBooks can't be connected to our domain. So I don't know. I'm not a Mac kind of guy, but somebody knows that answer better than I do. But I'm pretty sure you can connect it. I just don't know if you can do it within our district. So there's that. All right. So let's go back into our slide deck and let's look at Screencastify. So Screencastify is an extension. It's a Chromebook extension. And this is one of the things that we are purchasing as a district. Now, right now, I do not have the full version. So I only have the 5-minute limit, and you do as well unless you have a paid version by the school or by yourself or something at this point. But it's really easy to use, and I'm going to walk you through how to use that, okay? So the first thing that you'll notice is that right up here, I have a Screencastify extension icon. Now to get that, you can just click right here. There's a link for you. or you can go to the Chrome Web Store. Either way, and you'll search for Screencastify. And it looks like this, a little video camera inside an orangish colored arrow. And I have it installed, so you would just do add to Chrome or something like that, all right? If you don't have it already. Now, let's see what that looks like. In it, you have some choices, and I want to go through those choices while it's nice and big right here. It's going to ask you if you want to share your browser tab, your desktop, or webcam only. A browser tab is just going to keep you in that one tab that you're sharing. So I don't hardly ever use that. I do use desktop a lot, but if you wanted to record, maybe you had option, was it 3 that we were talking about? That where you want to use that Chromebook to record yourself in front of a smartboard or a whiteboard, then you would use webcam only, okay? And that's going to capture you as big as life on that screen, and you're actually going to be kind of small because you're in front of a big whiteboard, okay? You're capturing that too. But that's the option that you'd want to use there. Now, the microphone will pick up whatever microphone is currently working on your machine, but you can hit the select button to choose a different one if you have a different one connected. The embed webcam puts that little view of you, and you can move it around. You can move it up and down wherever you want it, but that little rectangle of you and your shining face right on it, okay? So I select that sometimes I don't. Anyway, so let's look at this, all right? Oh, and by the way, it does have drawing tools where you can draw. Again, you're still using your mouse, so you may not be really proficient at drawing really well, but at least you could highlight things and circle things if you needed to. And you can also record your system audio. So let's say that you're playing a song or music in the background or something, you know, you can record that as well, okay? So I'm gonna go up here and show this to you what this looks like, and we're going to record a video. And I'm going to give you an opportunity to record or at least install the app, the extension, if you want to in just a moment. So you just click on here. And notice I'm not upgraded yet. Nobody in the district is that I know of, so we're all in the same little basket there. So I'm going to choose desktop, and notice as I'm talking, it's looking and it shows that my mic is working. I'm getting that little green gauge there that just keeps popping up a little bit. Now I can embed my webcam, but I prefer not to on this trial. Now, if you click on Show More Options, you can have a countdown. This is how many seconds it will give you before it starts the video recording. You can show drawing tools. You can turn that on and off, and you can share your system audio if you want. Your system audio, remember, is like your computer playing videos, not me talking with a microphone. That's already on. 2 different things. Okay, so I'm going to do a little recording here. And it wants to know which screen I want to share. So I'm going to share this one right here. Share that. I got 3, 2, 1. Okay, so now I'm recording inside Screencastify. Down here is a little button that says Stop Sharing. Whenever I'm done with the recording, I just click on it. I can go over here to my tools, and I can change a few things with my mouse. I can have like a focus mouse. Whenever it clicks at certain areas, that didn't show very well. But I can draw on here if I want. Okay, so if I want to note something, I can do that. I can go back and change the pen color if I want to as well. Okay, so these are things you can point out with your kids. Now, if you want to erase, you can erase right here. If you want to just erase part of it, you can do that. If you want to go back to the eraser and erase the entire screen, you can click on this square right here, and it all goes away. All right, I can pause the video if I want to do that, and you're going to find some of these other features really handy if you want as well. I can start embedding my webcam if I want to click on that, and then my webcam will start clicking on here. That may mess with Zoom, so I just want to turn it off. Who knows? So it probably isn't loading because of Zoom, and that's fine. I don't want to mess up my recording for you guys. All right, so I'm done. So I'm going to go back to my mouse, click on the pointer, because right now it's still erasing. See that? All right, click on that, and then stop sharing, and okay. Now, it's going to open up a new tab and show you your recording, okay? Now, it's saving it to Drive, and it's also playing, so I'm just going to pause that. Now, I have the audio off, and that's a good thing because I don't want to hear my voice twice. That's really weird. So I'll click the pause right there. Now, what you can do is you can trim the front end of it. Notice the video. I can trim it to there, maybe if I want to start where the annotations are. Or I can also trim the back of it, okay? So I can stop there and start, trim that too. So any place that I want to have this, I can, trim it, and then I can trim the back if I want to as well. Now that's about the only editing that you have with a free account. With a paid account, I know that you have more options, but personally, I haven't seen those. But you would click to open an editor, and then hopefully you're gonna have some more options for trimming your video. Now, I can get a link, I can share this to Classroom. I can also publish this to YouTube, which is really sweet. So if I'm ready for this video to go to YouTube, I can click on that button and it will start adding my YouTube channel is Jerry Broyles. It'll ask you for that first. And then right here, it'll ask you how you want it listed. You're going to say unlisted. Okay, so you can share a link with your kids. If you keep it on private, only you can see the video. Okay, you want your kids to see it. So you'd have to do unlisted. Then you can title it and give a description and all that and click upload. Okay, it's really easy to do. I think you all know that feature. Now, if you are one of those people kind of like me, I like everything saved to my desktop or saved to my computer. You can go right here and click on this arrow, and then you can export it as an MP4. So that way the file is on your computer, and maybe you have Camtasia or Pinnacle Studio or something on your Mac that you edit videos with. You can do some editing with this file when you export it as MP4. When you do that, I'm just going to click on that to show you. I leave that unchecked, and then I just click export. And notice it's exporting right here. And then I'm going to have something else I need to do in just a moment. So I want you to see that because that can get a little tricky. So it went through that. Now I click on download MP4 again, okay? And then that will show up over here. And you know where this is. This is in downloads, okay? So you just go back, you can open it up here, or you can go back to your Windows File Explorer, go to downloads, and there it is. It's untitled, today's date, and time. Okay, there's my file. Now, another cool thing that I love to do is you can make GIFs with this. And if you're a GIF person or a GIF person, however you want to pronounce it, you can still make those short videos that loop all the time. Okay, so if you want to show kids something really simple that they need to do, maybe instruction-wise, maybe how to start a Zoom lesson or how to get into Wonders, you can create your own video, make it a GIF, and it just keeps on repeating. Okay, I love that feature. Now, mine is 1 minute and 18 seconds. I don't want to make a GIF out of that. That's just a little bit too long, okay? So I would just, if it's under, 30 seconds or something, I would say that's good GIF material. But anything longer than that, that's probably a little too long. Okay, I hope you like this feature, okay? So I'm gonna close this out. Now, if you don't like this video, you can trash it right here so it doesn't show up in your Google Drive any longer, okay? So I'm just gonna close this out here, and I wanna show you a couple things. I'm gonna go to Drive. And when you have Screencastify videos, once you install that extension and create your first video, it's going to put a folder inside your Google Drive. So I'm going to scroll down to the bottom here to my S's, and there's Screencastify. So it creates a folder for you. All of your videos show up there. Okay. Now, notice I downloaded it also, right? So it does do that as well, but it can record them and save them to Google Drive here as well. Okay. Now we will show you how to get one of these videos into your Google Classroom later on in the session. Okay. Anyway, My Drive and Screencastify, that's where they show. All right. So I showed you all that stuff right there, drawing tools, system audio, all that good stuff. Now this is just a little note on trimming. Once you move those little indicators back and forth, you click on Save Trim, and then it will cut it off on the ends. Okay. All right, we'll show you the share permissions in a minute. All right, and this, again, this is just notes for you guys, so you don't have to write all that stuff down, okay? You're probably like, I already wrote it down. You should have showed me this earlier. Sorry, I apologize. So there's that. All right, now, this is just what, when you click the, let me go back. When you click the publish to YouTube, okay, this is what it looks like for the first time if you've never done it before. It looks a little scary, all right? It asks you for a YouTube channel. Well, you click on that, and then it will automatically find your YouTube channels, and you choose which one you have. I think I have 3. One is Jerry Broyles with my Fayette County account, and I have my picture to remind me of that. The other is one that I made because I didn't know what I was doing with YouTube a long time ago. Then the third one is my FCPS OIT account. So you just choose that account. You do the drop down and make it unlisted. I have this all for you right here. You put in your title, then you put in a description, and then you click upload. Now we will show you how to do YouTube video without this nice little feature inside Screencastify in just a moment. But it makes it so easy for you inside Screencastify to do that. And guys, I've had students, and I've done this myself, I want to make things so perfect. You know, I spend extra amount of time making it so perfect. It is to the nth degree for that second where I start. I cut out all of my ums and uhs. Some of that you may need to just let it go, because the kids will just watch it and they'll just think it's normal you speaking, and you really probably don't have time to make it perfect, guys. It's okay. Nobody's going to see this except for your kids and you. So I know in the beginning it's going to be perfect. Probably down by Thanksgiving, you're like, I am so tired of this. I'm just going to go for it and not even trim and worry about it. They can just watch the video. So that's going to happen. Okay, let's talk about this a little bit. Your phone is a powerful device. If you have a smartphone, now you have other devices. You have your Chromebook, you have your PC, you have whatever your school has given you and so forth. I have recorded videos off of my phone using the YouTube app, and my goodness, it was so easy to do. So I would just record something, record myself speaking. You've seen those Gary Brook videos where he's in his car and he's got his phone recording. That's all he's doing is using the YouTube app to record, and he's streaming it live or recording it or whatever. But you can trim your video inside YouTube on the app on your phone as well. It's easy. I love that. So if you're stuck because your Chromebook is not charged and you can't find the charger, grab that phone. Go for it. All right. Now, I don't know if you have document cameras or not. A little thumbs up if you do. Okay, perfect. Some of you do. Great, thank you. I appreciate that. So that's awesome. This was my COVID-19 spring. Oh my goodness, they don't have a document camera build. So I built this, and it's just some wood, and I have some directions here if you want to find out what that is. So if you want to make your videos at home, it works great. And if you notice, this is just, gosh, this is an iPhone 6. Some of you are like, man, that is way old technology for a tech person. That is ancient. So anyway, you can see the document below it, though. This is just a multiplication grid table, and here's the document right here. So you can record that using a document camera of your own at home. I've seen some people use like cans of soup and like a spaghetti box or something to hold it. This is just a little bit more functional, and So anyway, here's some directions here if you want to build one of those. But don't think that your phone can't be used, because it's a powerful tool. Okay. Now, also, if you want to add your phone, and this is for you techie people out there who already have your Zoom figured out, you can add your Zoom, you can add the Zoom app on your phone, bring it in. Yes, there you go, Minna. Yes, I got to show that. Yeah, can I pin that here? Let's see. Oh gosh, can you see? I don't know if you can see Minna, but she's showing it. Yep, on her phone. Let's see if I can go to stop share. And where's Minna at? And I'll pin the video. Hey, Minna, can you talk about it a little bit? Let's see if I can unmute you here. Hold on. Yeah, here we go.
I love
Yeah,
talking to myself.
that's great.
So I just went at the very top on the YouTube. There's a little camera there,
Yeah.
and I just clicked that, and there's a bunch of little cute videos of kittens, funny kittens, and
Right.
but then it wanted access to my camera, my photos, and my microphone, and it was ready to go.
That is
It
sweet.
was really
That,
easy. Yeah.
that is sweet. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah, absolutely. So it's easy. I mean, YouTube has made it very easy for you guys to do that. So that's perfect. All right, that's nice. So anyway, there's another idea for you, recording videos, because you're going to be doing a lot of that. And you're probably going to be doing a lot of it maybe at home because your kids need help on something, and you just record a short video, post it into YouTube, or I'm sorry, post it into Google Classroom, and then they're good to go, okay? So preach, Jerry. Yes, I'm trying to preach, I tell you what. All right. I know how this is going to run, guys. It's going to be a while, I think, for us to get out of distance learning. We're going to be here for a while. If you checked up on the universities, a lot of them are, sending kids back to their dorm room to do school. So, all right, we're going to talk about Google Meet, and I know that I'm not a fan, but I will be. Okay, I have hope because they have some updates on their roadmap that I think it's going to be awesome. But right now, it is less than awesome. Here's some features that I just can't wrap my head around why they think this is going to work for our kiddos. All right, couple things here. Inside Google Classroom, there is a Google Meet link. Those could be turned off and on inside Google Classroom. I like that feature. That's good. Teachers can also create their own nicknames at meet.google.com, and those nicknames are how kids can enter their classroom. Just another way to do that. Those are secure. So if let's say I go to meet.google.com, and this is just for funsies, guys. We're not going to do a lot of time on Meet, but I can go right here to start a meeting, and I can put in a nickname, and I can say Broyles, let's see, I don't know, Team 5. Maybe I want to work with just a group of my kids, okay? So on my Google Classroom, I have like Team 1, Team 2, Team 3, Team 4, Team 5, and maybe I just want them inside a Google Meet today, or even a Zoom link. You could do the same thing with Zoom. Anyway, you just create a nickname, and the kids, what they would do is they would come right here, and they would have the choice to type in a nickname here, and then they would just type in that same nickname. Okay, there's videos on that to show you a little bit better than I just did. Okay, Nick, I love that. All right, so here's the good, bad, and the ugly. So security-wise for Meet, and you may have some people that love Meet, and that's okay. Everybody has different preferences. So the students cannot get into another Meet if it's not currently opened by a teacher. Now in the spring, they could do that. They could hop right in there and have their own Meet and invite other kids if they want to. So they can't do that now. Students' full name will show, and they can't change their name. That's good. Students can't restart a Meet on their own, even with a nickname. Now, in the spring, I could have my daughter in a Meet with me. I could end the Meet, and she could hop right back in within like 2 minutes and still get inside the Meet. I think probably some of y'all experienced that. So that's not good, but they've changed that now. All right, so here's some other things that just hurt my feelings more than anything else. They can share their screen without permission. There was a question about Zoom in the chat, if you can record the screen without kids faces showing. I haven't found the right setting. There's a lot of settings in Zoom. I can't find the right one to just record just the screen. If they're showing their video, it picks that up in Zoom. So in here, inside Meet, it does the same thing. They can show their video whenever they want. You can mute them individually, but once you do that, they can still unmute themselves. So you can turn them off, but they can come right back and turn themselves back on. There's no button to stop that. Now, students can return to Meets if they have been removed by the teacher. That feature that I showed you in Zoom. is not an option in Google Meet. So that's the good, the bad, and now we have the ugly, of course. It gets a little bit worse. Teachers can turn off student video, but students may turn the video off and on anytime. Okay, now in elementary school, that may not be a problem. Maybe you want to see their faces, and I know that you do because you have the heart of gold, and you do want to see their friendly faces every day. But they have the option to turn it off and on, whether, and it doesn't matter what you want them to do at that point if they want to be, a little rotten, as we'll keep it rotten. So teachers can turn off the chat feature. They can continue to chat. Unfortunately, you can't turn that off. And then they can chat with everyone or selected members, their choice, so you can't necessarily see what the chat is. Now, the good news is this. Went too far. Come on, computer. Many of these features will be updated, so here's the updates. These are what's on the roadmap coming up. I just grabbed this off of Facebook this morning, so I hope it's correct, but came from Jessamine County Schools. So in September, you'll see these changes. You can disable the chat. You can restrict them to presenting their screen. They have a collaborative Jamboard, which is going to be cool. That'll be great. Then you have some more features coming in October and then later this year and so forth. So it is definitely getting better. The problem is it's not here today. So I may change my stance. I may be a Google Meets lover when all these come out. Who knows? We'll see. All right. Now, this is where Meet is greater than Zoom, and I love this feature. They have a closed caption function, which allows the students to see captioning and also change it to other languages. Yep, they do. So if they click on the captioning, the CC, it can be converted to a different language. Now, the voice, the audio of the person speaking, their voice is not changed to a different language, but the closed captioning text can be changed to a different language. So that may be really helpful for some of our kids. I wish Zoom had that feature. They have their closed captioning. What it is giving somebody the rights to type what you're saying. That is not helpful at all. I mean, how can you keep up with what somebody is saying, typing quickly? I'm sure there's some people out there, but if they've seen my sessions, good luck. I mean, I go pretty quick sometimes, so I don't know about that. All right, we're going to upload some videos. So here we go. So if you haven't loved YouTube, and if you haven't done anything in YouTube and creating or uploading videos, we're going to do that right now. So here we go. All right, first thing, when you go to YouTube, make sure you see your smiling face of Fcps. Make sure that's you, because you're going to upload to your Fcps account. All right, you're going to click on the video camera and choose Upload, which is right there, and then it'll give you the option to upload. Now, according to YouTube, so if you're a file format aficionado, you want to make sure that you're using the right file format. It's going to be MP4, and that is exactly what Screencastify downloaded for you. Perfect, right? It's also what Zoom is using when it creates a video for you, MP4. So these are good things that we, purchase that will work with, YouTube and Google. Okay. Now, when you get to YouTube, and we'll take you through one of these demos. Don't worry, we'll get you. There'll be a place where it asks for a thumbnail, and I'll show you what a thumbnail looks like. There'll be a place where you can check on playlists if you have those created. It asks you for the audience, and it's like, yes, it's made for kids, or no, it's not. You'll choose that. And then you can add tags if you want, and I rarely do that. But these are just some options that you'll see in just a moment. Now, I do want you to do this. I want you to come up with a cover slide or a cover image for your video. Now, the reason I'm asking you to do this is because when the kids click on the YouTube video, I want them to know that, yes, that is their teacher, and they know that they're clicking on the right thing. Okay, so if you want to put a picture of you in there, that's fine. If you want to put a Bitmoji, that's fine. But give them some, or maybe it's a background of your school, something, give them some kind of idea of, relevancy so that they know that, yes, that's my teacher. I feel comfortable clicking on that. And it's a good way for you to organize your videos as well, because you're going to forget. because if I didn't have these reminders, I would forget. Okay, so this is just a slide, and you can use a slide or something like it if you want. You know, change it around, edit it, make your own slide, whatever it may be. But remember, you can always go, you can use your snipping tool. If you're on a PC like this, go to New, and then just grab that, you know, cover it up. That's your slide right there. And then I'll go to File and Save as an image. Okay, it's that easy. And then it'll ask me where to save this, and then I'll just save it, and that will be my image. Okay, so I have the slide on for you on this slide deck, so you can use it if you want. Change your background colors if you want. You know, change background right there, and then your colors right here. You can change different colors if you want. Maybe the colors, you know, have some meaning. Maybe the red backgrounds are math. Maybe the yellow are science. Maybe the green are social studies. You know, make it make sense for the kids, and that way it's easy for them to find. Oh, it's a math video that I need to look for in your channel. Okay, maybe you'll get 1 million followers, and YouTube will start paying you. You know, who knows? The sky is the limit. So let's go through this process here. So I'm going to go to YouTube. Just open up a new tab. Type in YouTube. All right, so right now I am under my Fcps OIT account. That's a fine account for me to use. Just make sure that you're using your educational account here, okay? And so right here, you go to the little camera, you click on Create, then you click to upload the video. Now this process used to really take a long time, and it's kind of painful. They've really made it a lot easier now. Okay, so I have this message to select my video. So I go to select, and I'm going to find one of my videos here. Remember, I'm in my Zoom account. Let's see, here we go. Okay, so I'll find that Zoom video, make sure it's the MP4 file that you're selecting. So I'll click on that, click on open. All right, so now I need to title this. So I'm just going to call this Distance Learning Booster Shot. And I'll do a little description here. This video shows teachers what they will need to know to get started in August, whatever. Okay, now it's doing some stuff here. It's running, you know, to find some different parts of the video to ask you if you want them to be thumbnails, but I just go right here to upload thumbnail. And remember, I saved that cover image. Okay, I showed you how to make that cover and save it. I'll just go to junk where my cover images are. And here's the cover image right here. Okay, so that's what it's going to look like. It has a picture of me on it. This isn't exactly what I showed you before, but you get the idea. You can make whatever cover you want. You're in control. I'm going to go to playlist here. Now, you may not have any playlist, but you can add and make new playlist here. So if you want to do one for math, that's great. If you want to do one for week 1, you know, whatever it is that you want to make your playlist be, maybe it's August, maybe it's September, however you want to organize your videos. Then you select those, okay, and then click done when you're done. Now, it may be made for kids, but always choose no, it's not made for kids, but you can choose whatever. It doesn't matter. I mean, it does, but it doesn't matter to me. But this has to do with COPA and all that. I just say no. Nobody's going to look to see what you chose here. Okay, click next. All right, this screen I don't do anything with. You can get complicated if you want. I don't get complicated. I keep it simple. All right, over here, this is important. You're going to make it unlisted. Okay, not public, unlisted. Okay, and now right here, this is your link to that video. You can copy that link and throw that right into Google Classroom. Okay, so let's do that. That's fun. That sounds fun to me. Now I'm going to click on Save. And it gives you this, that is still loading, it's processing, it's unlisted, awesome, close. Now, it's going to get in here with our other hundreds of videos, and it's pending right now, which means it's just not done yet. But if I want to go back and edit things, I can click right here for details, and I can go in and edit some of this stuff if I want. Okay, so again, you can go in there and change what you need. If you need to get rid of that video, you just click right here and delete forever, which I'll be doing after the session is over. Okay, so just delete forever and it's really gone. Now let's go to Google Classroom here. Remember I copied that link? Remember I pressed the copy button? Okay, I'll go to classwork, create, and let's put it under assignment. You know, you can choose different things here. So I'm just going to call it week 1 video for math. I don't know, something like that. Then watch the video. You know, you're a better teacher than this. This is just a demo, so you get the idea. Then go right here to add, and I'm going to go to YouTube, okay? And remember that link I stored? I'm going to click over here. Instead of doing a search inside YouTube, I'm going to click on URL. And then I'm going to paste that URL with a Control V, and it's partially there, right, at least. So I'm going to click on add. And then I'm going to deploy this to all my students. It's not worth anything, you know, it's not graded. I'm going to give them a due date. I advise you to give due dates because it shows up on the calendar better. And it keeps your grade section of Classroom organized. Okay, it really does. I know that some people say, don't assign that. Yes, assign a due date for them to watch it. Worst thing that can happen is that they turn it in late, okay? So I'll say the 31st. And then topic, it's going to be, I don't know. I had this sorted out into days. I'll put it on Friday. So, okay, then assign. Okay, so then if I go down to Friday, there's that video that I just put in there. Y'all can do this. Okay, you got it. YouTube's your friend. Okay, easy to do. All right, let's move on. All right, let's see where we are now. Okay, yeah, so you all already know, because a lot of you shook your heads about YouTube having that closed caption feature and kids can see the text and they can change it to a different language. You all are pros already. You don't need this pro tip. This is just showing that you can add video to slides really easily. If you have questions about that, you know, feel free to reach out to us. We'll get you all hooked up. All right. So I'm going to show this right here. When you're giving a YouTube video to your kids to watch, it's a great way to put them in a slide deck. A lot of teachers use a slide deck for their entire lesson for the day. It's a good way to organize. It's only like 1 click for the students instead of like 3 or 4. But it's a nice way to keep them all together if they're able to go through a slide deck, you know, at their age level. Now, I would keep the slide to a minimum like 3 or 4 in the beginning, and then, you know, add more on as they get better at doing it. But I want to show you this feature, which is really sweet for embedding a video inside a slide deck. So if I go to Insert, I can go to Video right here. And it remembered that I had searched for Math 3rd grade before. Hold on just a second. It did not like that. Try that again. I don't like that. Well, my mouse seems to be a little, see how it's going behind it? That's not cool. So I can't really do anything there. Oh, come on, let's see. Nope, it's hiding. So there's something goofed up about that. Well, let's talk about it instead, because we always like to talk about things instead of doing it, actually. So when you put the video in here, it's going to bring up, let's see, hold on. I think I have a video here. Hold on. Let's see. Let's see what I have. Let's go up here and let's see if we can play this one. Okay, hold on. Let's say, all right, stop that. Okay, bummer. Well, let's see. Oh, here we go. Okay, good. I can show it to you. So let's pretend that that worked. I put a YouTube video in there, and automatically it's going to come up with these format options on the right-hand side. Shoot, I'm glad I got through that. If you have like a 30-minute video and you only want to show like 15 minutes of it or 10, you know, kids have a limited attention span for sure. Let's say that the part that you want to show, this is just 3 minutes and 52 seconds. Maybe you want it to start at 2 minutes, okay? Then that way, when they click on it, it will start at the 2-minute mark. And then if you don't want them to see all the end, you know, maybe it's a YouTube video that has all those ads and stuff, you know, please watch my channel, all that. Maybe you don't want them to see that. Then you can change it to maybe 3 minutes. Oops. Okay, so when you do that, when you open it up, and I'm afraid to right now because things are a little hinky, but that's how you can actually change it for the kids when they watch it. Okay, you can change the start time, you can change the end time. Now, if you've already put that video inside your slide deck, just do a right click on it and go to Format Options, and that will bring that up. Also, if you want it to play automatically when they go to the next slide, you can click on this and it will play automatically. All right. And you can change the position and other stuff, and I don't really mess with that. So I'm going to put 0:0 back in there and put it to the end. Yeah, this resets it right here if you do that. Okay. All right. I'm glad I got through that. All right, let's see where we are now. Okay, so that's where we were. You had this idea right here, and I'm sorry, my computer's really kind of freezing up on me. We're going to go back and head into Google Classroom now, okay? I will give you guys a break in about 15 minutes, okay? We'll do that, but we'll just go ahead and start this Google Classroom bit. So here's the things that I want you to think about with us. I'm going to turn this off so it makes my screen a little bit bigger now, if it will go off. All right, perfect. Some of you have been through the self-paced course. Many of you have used NTI, Google Classroom setup then. So I'm just going to show you some things that will help you hopefully troubleshoot. I'm also going to show you the student view, because I think that's really important in a view that you're not likely to see unless you have a child of your own that you can, hack into their account and see, what it looks like on their end. And that's something that you can do, because probably a lot of you have young children. You can always, or children at least in Fayette County Public Schools, you can add them to your Google Classroom account or inside the class and have them as a student, and then take a device and log into their account so they can see what it looks like. You can see what it looks like as the student view. Don't be afraid to do that. I know that some of your kids may not like that. My daughter has totally gotten over it because I've used hers so much, and I'll use it today too. But let's look at this real quick. The stream could be a hot mess, and I'm going to show you how to limit what that stream looks like. And really, I think your students need to go to classwork. Classwork is going to be easier for them to navigate, and they can see the assignments a little bit easier than looking at the stream. The stream has some functionality that's nice, like adding comments and so forth. But really, for your kiddos, I'd start them at classwork, and we'll show that in just a moment. We're going to walk you through creating assignments, and we're also going to talk about Google Quizzes. Google Quizzes seems to be the #1 topic that comes into our office hours of people having trouble for getting it to work. And I know that some of you probably won't be using that feature, but I know that maybe 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade teachers will definitely be using that. And they saw this graphic over here. And it's really funny because I love SpongeBob and I love Patrick. And it shows, students using technology to make TikTok videos. And, they look like a scientist and really smart and so forth. Then they're over here and it's like, they can't even get a saw or a hammer to work the right way for distance learning. But then I thought, that is hilarious because I like it. But it's like, why is this? Well, I think a lot of the problem is that we haven't given the kids the time to really learn how to use some of the things that we're doing. And it takes a lot of time because they may not want to ask questions, on a video, on a Zoom call. They may not want to do that. in classroom, I think they would, definitely raise their hand at some time or just come to your desk and ask a question like all of our kids love to do. Just come walking to your desk and you're in the middle of something, they'll just come over. But maybe that's how me sharing, student view versus teacher view in just a moment, maybe that will help you as a teacher explain what they should be seeing on their Chromebook, okay? So this is funny, but some of it may be on us as teachers that we need to get in there and teach them a little bit more about how to do things before we just throw it on them. All right, then we'll talk about people, adding students, student view, and grading, okay? Okay, so let's get back into it. So we did have a question in the chat from Cecilia, I think, about using your FCPS account for YouTube. Yes, you definitely want to use that even though you may have a personal setup. And I think if you just go to YouTube, you should see that you can just start creating that video right there. You shouldn't have any problems. Your account is already set up for you. So there's nothing that you have to do extra. It's just pretty much what I showed you is going to be the exact same experience you should have if you're logged into Fayette County Public Schools. So I have my screen set up a little bit differently here now. Can y'all see my screen okay? It says student view and teacher view. Okay, perfect, thank you. So over here, I just have me logged in as a teacher for a classroom that I created. And over here, I'm gonna log in as a student. And I just wanna show this to you. Just because you may wanna do the same thing if you have your own child's login credentials so you can see your classroom in action if you add them as a student. Or if you ever need to log in as somebody else, maybe you're using somebody's computer and you want to show them this, it's easy to do. Just go to the three dots, go to New Incognito Window. Okay, and that allows you to log in as somebody else without having to log out of your Chrome, which is a really nice feature, especially if you're presenting maybe to the faculty. One of you gets on, they log in incognito, the other person doesn't have to log out of Chrome. Just a nice window. It doesn't really hide your browsing history in Fayette County because all that is recorded automatically. It looks a more, I don't know, stalker creepy than it should. But anyway, it's okay. I'm going to log in as my daughter here. So I'm going to go to Drive, and that's where I always start logging in. And I'll go to Drive right here. And I'm going to type in her email. Nope, it remembers it. It might remember some email addresses, but it usually doesn't remember credentials. Huh, it does because I've been using it so much. That's crazy. But anyway, so we'll log in to her Google Drive. And I'm going to close that out because I don't need it. I'll go to the app here and click on Classroom. All right, so now, because we did that poll at the beginning, I'm not going to start with scratch with Google Classroom. I have a feeling that a lot of you are beyond that. So hopefully I'm going to show some things that will help you, troubleshoot your Google Classroom a little bit better, and also see some things that may get you hung up, if you're helping your kiddos and so forth. So right now, she is not a member of this classroom. So all I have to do as a teacher is give her this this code right here. She will go right here to click on the plus sign, and she'll type in that code. All right, and it recognizes it because it clicked on the join. It highlighted that, so I click on join. So it's thinking, it's joining right now. So I'm just going to turn that off. And now you can see exactly what the student view looks compared to this teacher view. Notice they have one less tab than we do, which is grades. They actually will see their grades in a different area, and I'll show that to you right here. Now, notice as I go down through the stream, this looks pretty overwhelming for our little kids, and it can look pretty overwhelming for our big kids. So you can minimize what that looks like in your settings. And notice everything that I saw over in the student view is exactly how I have it set up in the teacher view. Okay, so if you want to minimize all this, you can go right here to the cogwheel, go to settings, scroll down a little bit, and see where it says classwork on the stream? click that. Right now it's on Show Attachments and Details, and you can show condensed notifications. And then I'm going to hit Save. Oops. Okay, and notice this showed, it automatically changed for them. Now they don't see all of that, and they just see the assignments. And once you click on them, you know, it goes into this area. Once they click on them, it takes them to that assignment and it opens it up full screen. Now, I do like it that it's minimized, and you know, once they start using Google Classroom, this can be out of hand and really kind of overwhelming. I think that they should go to classwork to start. And this is how I've set it up. So this is a student view. I'm going to show you over here on the teacher view. And I'm going to make this a little bit bigger because I'm showing you the same thing here. I put the Zoom links at the top. To create a Zoom link, I just went to Create and Material. Then I put a title. And then right here, I went to Add, and I put that link. Okay, so where my Zoom link was, I just pasted it right here. And that's how they're going to get to my Zoom links for their meetings. Okay, now how did I get this? Well, that's just a topic. Remember, your topics are over here. And you can create new topics by going to Create and Topic. And maybe I'm finally converting myself to Google Meets, and I need one of those. So I can click on Add. And then I just stuttered. Then you can add whatever you want underneath the Google Meets topic. So you can, again, go to Material and create that Google Meet link instead, and then you can have it right here. Now, if I don't need that topic any longer, I can just delete it. Okay. Now, another thing that may help you with organization this year is that I've kind of gone through and I've made just the different assignments for different days of the week. And I started, you know, Monday of next week, which we don't have to start till the 26th, so that's perfect. And these are just assignments. Now, let's say that I go through Monday and, oh my goodness, I didn't get to the Spanish assignment. Well, I can just click on it, move it down to the next day. Really easy for me to do, okay? So you can move all these around wherever you feel like, you know, they need to be, whatever day or so forth. Now, you may set up your classroom to be different. Maybe it's, you set it up by math, science, social studies, or whatever. I do think this has advantages, though, because the kids can go to the date and see exactly what they need to do instead of going to different subjects and trying to figure out what they need to do in each area. Now, the other idea that we have shared in our little OIT team is this. Once you are done with a day, let's say that you're on Wednesday and all of your kids have done these assignments, which we hope will happen. When you're done, you can take these assignments and drag them all the way to the bottom. Boy, that's really slow. And you can drop them right here where it says completed assignments. Okay, so when the assignments are finished, you're finished with them, you're going to keep them, you're not going to delete them. Okay, you're just going to move them to a different storage area, which is your completed assignments topics. Okay, and then all those assignments, you move them all down, then you can get ready for the next Monday. So then you keep the same topic here, you change this, rename it to August 31st. And then you can start making your assignments for that day because this is all being cleared out. Okay, so just an idea there that might help you keep it organized. And then at the bottom, I have all of my classroom materials, the classroom rules, class supplies. You know, if you're doing newsletters for your kids and parents, you could store those here as well. Okay. Now, I just messed up my world, so I need to put it back. So I'm gonna put that right back up here where it says Monday. Come on. All right, perfect. Now, you do have to take attendance somehow, and one idea that you could have is that you could present a question every day for the kids to answer. So right here, I have a question created that they're going to answer. Then the next day, I have another question. And Wednesday, I don't have one yet because I'm not there yet. I still have some more planning to do for Wednesday. So you can create a question by just going right up here to create, and then question. And you can ask them silly questions, or you can ask them what they think about the election that is coming up. Or ask them just what their favorite color is. What is your favorite color? And have them answer it. Change this to multiple choice. And we'll have some colors in here. I am not putting all the colors of the rainbow in here, but we'll just put in some of the top ones. I don't know. Blue, of course, right? Other. Okay, and then make this worth no points. Give it a due date. I'm going to give it the due date of the day that I'm asking. So this is going to be for Wednesday. So that's going to be Wednesday the 26th. And then that way, if they come back and answer it, you'll know that it's late because it'll have a notification that it's late. Okay, topic. I'll go on Wednesdays and ask. Okay, so just some ideas there to get you covered. Now notice also here, if you want to point your kids or parents to the Google Calendar, it shows up right here for them. And we'll go to the student view in just a second. But because I put all those due dates in, now I can see, oops. All right, I can see those questions showing up here. And let me see something else here. Hold on just a second. Yeah, those are showing. So those questions are showing up here for the due dates. I put a lot of the due dates to be the 30th and 31st, but notice those questions that I'm asking daily are on the actual day that I'm taking attendance. Okay, so I can click on this assignment to get more information. You click on this to get more information about it, what I'm asking. You can share, this is automatically shared with your kids. You can also share this with your parents if you would like to do that. All right, let's go to the student view here because this is probably what you haven't seen. Okay, so we're going to point our kids to the classwork and they see just exactly how I have mine set up. It is a mirror image. Anything you move around here will move around on theirs. They cannot move these around. Okay, you can, they can't. Now, I want to show you people real quick. Oh, by the way, their work is right here. So if they click on view their work, all the work that they have assigned is right here. Now that's overwhelming because I assigned everything for the entire week, but it shows up here, and this is also where they'll see their grades. And if they have missing assignments, it'll say missing and it'll be in red. Okay. So let's go back. Let's go to people here. Now they see a very similar result of what I would see as a teacher. They see their teachers. Remember, you can add ESL teachers or special ed teachers to your classroom if that is appropriate. Okay, maybe you co-teach and you can add those as well. A lot of that has changed from school to school because they want to be sure to respect confidentiality. But if that is something that makes sense, then make sure you run that past your principal or admin so that they approve. But maybe it's co-teachers that you add here. Easy to do. I just go right here to add, and then I type in that person's name. So maybe I want to add Kelly Fisher. I just click right there, and then I go to invite. You can add as many teachers as you could be allowed here in Google Classroom, okay? All right, over here for them, they don't see a picture of themselves. So when you're having conversations with them, you know, that may be something that they ask, I don't see a picture of me. Well, they're looking at classmates, not a mirror of themselves. So they only see other classmates that are in there. In this classroom, I only have 2 students, okay? Now, they can also click on, let's say they want to email this person right here. They can click on that. It does not work, okay? That does not work in Google Classroom because we don't have Gmail as a district. So you can still receive notifications through your email of students turning in work, students commenting or whatever, if you have that on. You still receive those notifications. That does work. But right here inside Google Classroom, trying to email somebody does not work. And it doesn't work for teachers either. So if I try to email Tessa Broyles, I go right here. and I go to email student, it takes me to the same page. We don't have Gmail. Okay. Now that's pretty much all that they see in their view. So let's go back to classwork, and I want to show you a few things that looks a little bit different than what you may expect. Okay. So let me make this a little bit larger here. Take this out, make this big. Okay, so let's look to see what they have when they answer questions and when they're working on assignments. A lot of confusion that we've seen, and it took a while for me to figure this out, is that students don't always see a turn-in button. Often we'll say, click on the turn-in button. Well, there may not be a turn-in button. It may be a marked as done button, or it may be, that they really have to do something else to turn it in. So it may not just be something that's really simple for them to do. So let's look at this one. This is something they can do. It's just a question. It says, what do you think will be your favorite subject this year? And so we can go to view question here. And so they can read that and they'll mark their choice. And of course, it's going to be math. Okay, so we'll click on turn in. Now, also, they can make other comments here because I have that open. If this is a class comment, it goes out to the entire class for them to see. This is a private comment, only the teacher can see it. Okay, and I'll put something like this. I love math. And then comment to me, I really don't. I hope I do better this year. I don't know if anybody's ever gotten a comment like that. All right, so that's going to go to the class. This is going to go to the teacher. It's already sent it, so I just dismissed that. Okay, now they're going to click on turn in here, turn it in, and they're done with that question. Okay, now they're going to see a graph, because I have this turned on, of what other kids in the class have chosen. Okay, so it gives them some nice feedback of what other students have seen. And so if you want to ask, like exit slip questions, they have to go ahead and answer theirs, and then they can see what the rest of the class answered. Okay, so that may be some good feedback for them. It may be really good feedback for you as well. I'm done here, so I don't know why it's doing that. Okay, all right, let's go back to classwork. I'm going to click on this to minimize it. I didn't mean to do that. Let's try this again. Okay, let's not do that. Let's go right here to this shape sorting activity. Okay, so we'll go to view assignment. And it says fill in your name and date on the slide, complete sorting the shapes. So this is just an interactive Google slide deck that I've created. I think it actually has 30 slides on it, but she's just going to do the first one. Now notice, I want you to see this. It has a turn in button here, and she hasn't done anything yet. So it is possible that students can turn this in without even doing any of the work. So that's something that you need to talk about with them. Say, hey guys, I know that you're going to see a turn in button, but you need to work on the Google Slides first and then click on turn in, because that will give me a notification that you have completed that assignment. Because that's the only way that you'll know that they've completed it, unless you go in one by one to look at them, which you will eventually, but you wouldn't have known that before if you hadn't gone in to look at each document. So I'll show that view to you in just a second. So let's look at this. Let's open it up. And this is just a simple activity for kids to do. So she would go up here and type her name, and she put in the date. It's today. And then she would move these around, wherever. These really don't look like circles. They look more like ellipses, but I'm going with it anyway. So she'd do this, and this may take a time for, a little young person to do. So, oops, almost made a mistake there. Okay, so I'm all done. Now, notice there's not a turn in button here. Okay, so they don't have anything to turn in. They just have to complete the assignment and make sure that it was saved. And it saves automatically. Now, I'm going to close this out. And now that I've completed it, I can click on the turn in button. All right, let's go back, and I'll go back to classwork and see what my next assignment is. Spanish. Okay, so classifying the colors. So I'll click on that. Here's my directions. Type your name and date into the slide. Drag and drop the pictures into the correct folder. So I have the turn in button again. Okay, you need to teach them not to click that yet. So they're going to do the assignment. These are just pictures they can drag and drop. And they're going to put their name in here again. And today. And they'll put in the reds where Rojo is. Azul is blue. And they'll drag and drop these. They're going to do it really a lot nicer job than I am. So they will finish that up. And so forth. Okay, you get the idea. So we'll finish all that up. Okay, now, again, they don't have a turn in button. So I'm going to click close and then click turn in here. Okay, so that's how Google Slides works. Let me show you something else that is different. All right. So this one is a little bit different. It's a I have a dream speech. It's a YouTube video. So I'm going to click on it. Now notice this. I have attached the YouTube video. I've also attached a PDF. We ran into trouble with some teachers posting PDFs because they thought that the students could write on them. A PDF is just a static image. There's nothing they can do to write on it unless you've created that into an interactive PDF, where it's fillable, or you have created a Google form or a Google Doc that has the same information in it. Okay, so there's really nothing for them to turn in here. The only reason there's a turn in button is for you to know and for them to let you know that they finished the assignment. Okay, now knowing that, you can't check to see if they've watched the video. There's no way to check that. If you use something like Edpuzzle, which is one of those things that you'll learn later on, then you can check to see if they've done it. You can ask them questions as they've gone along and seen the video. Okay, now over here, since there's a PDF, I can open that up and read it as a student. Okay, there's nothing I can do. I can't click anywhere to write on it though. The YouTube video, it'll take me to YouTube and I can play the video.
I have the pleasure to present to you.
And that was really loud. I apologize for that. Okay, so they'll watch the video. When they're done with that, they'll click on turn in. Okay, that's something that you need to teach them how to do. All right, let's look at a few more different things. Okay, here, I have a dream speech response. This one, I've actually created a Google Doc for them to work on. And this is what most people think of how Google Classroom works. So it says, how does Martin Luther King's choice of words and emphasis change the delivery of his speech? Wow, that's a really, not an elementary prompt, but you get the idea. This is what you're asking them to do. They have this doc right here. It has their name on it. They're going to click on it, open. And so now we see that it's loading and there will be a turn in button right here that they click on turn in. So Google Docs does have a turn in button. The others don't. So she's going to hop in here. She's going to write, this is the, best speech ever. I love the dynamics. Okay, whatever she's going to say there. So now she can click on turn in. Turn in. And now notice when that happened, there is no longer a turn in button here. That's how that worked. She can click on unsubmit and change her response anytime that she wants if you haven't graded this yet. Okay, so if she wants to go back into it, she can unsubmit it and then she can click on the doc again to work on it some more. All right, she has that option right there for her. All right, let's look at a couple more things. I know it's 11:16 and I know that I'm going to give you a little bit of time for questions here. Let's look at a quiz. I think there's a quiz in here. Where's my quiz at? Okay, well, let's add a quiz. Here we go. I want to show you this anyway. So I'm gonna minimize that, go back to my teacher view over here. Let's add a quiz, so create. You can go to quiz assignment, and you'll put in the title. Title for this one is week 1, adding fractions. I don't know, I'm just kind of making that up. Okay, now it gives you a blank quiz right here. This is really important. So in the classroom, in the physical classroom, if we get back to a physical classroom, this is great for Chromebooks. You can turn locked mode on Chromebooks, and they can only see that quiz. They can't open up another tab. They do have an X where they can close out of the quiz. If they do that, you get an email notifying you that so-and-so, little Tessa, little Johnny, has closed out that quiz. And that means they haven't submitted it yet, and now they can look up the answers. When we're doing distance learning, you need to make sure this is off. Okay, make sure it's off. Now, also, I'm not going to use that blank quiz. I'm going to add my own quiz. So I'll go right here to Google Drive. I think it's probably in my recents. So let's see if it is. Oh, okay, we'll do a little search for it. File type is a form. And it is 3rd grade. Let's see. Oh, it was right there. I just saw it. Ah, there it is. Okay. Click on it, go to insert. Okay, make sure that is turned off. Now down here, it says grade importing automatically limits each form to 1 response per user, collects email addresses, and restricts responses to users in your domain. So when you create that quiz, these are the settings that you need to have. It will change it automatically for you, but if you go back to this quiz and change them because you've already used it in Google Classroom, and let's say that you change this and let them take it over again because you like the idea of mastery learning, it will not import those quiz grades any longer. It will mess up your scoring. So leave them as this right here. You can turn this off or on, but these 3 need to be checked. Okay, so I'm going to save that. Let's close that out. And we're going to go ahead and deploy this quiz. We're going to make it, I think it's 30 points. Due date, I'll add that so it goes to the calendar. Topic, we're going to add it for, let's do it on Thursday. And then we assign it. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the student view. This is the last thing I want to show you today, guys. So go back to classwork, go to Thursday. I'm going to update this. Looks like it needs to be updated some. Well, I don't see the quiz there. All right. Well, that was fun. So when they actually take the quiz, this is what you'll see on your end, and this is what I want to make sure you understand how to do. Go back to classwork. See, there's the quiz right there. Oh, it's saved as a draft. I didn't mean to do that. Let's change that. Let's go to edit. Let's assign it. Assign. Yep. Okay. Okay, now let's see if we see it over here. Oh, good. Here we go. Nope. There we go, right there. Okay, so we'll open that up. View assignment. I'll get rid of this so you can see a little bit bigger now. Okay, now notice it says mark as done. So they can mark that as done and not take the quiz. But if they take the quiz, this will automatically be marked as done for them. Let me show you how that works. So let's click on this quiz right here. She's already responded, bummer, because I've used that before. So when that happens though, once they have taken it and submitted it, this will come back to them as mark as done and complete. Okay, so I can mark it as done. And then over here as a teacher, I know this can be a little confusing. I apologize for that. Let's go to grades here. That quiz will show up here, and since she's already taken it, it shows up as green. Now, in that quiz though, if I go back to it, I'm going to see the option to import grades. You want to click on that, and then those grades that where she's already taken it will show up. So if I click on import grades, now I can see that she got 30 out of 50. Well, it's actually out of 30 points, so I can change that to 30 points right here and update it. And then I can go back to where my grades are, and it's automatically here for me. So all those grades that you have inside a quiz that you've been going back and forth and entering them into Infinite Campus or Classroom or whatever, all that can be done for you automatically. Now the last thing, and I think you probably already know this, is there is not an easy way right now to get grades from Classroom into Infinite Campus. You have to do this. You have to click on one of these grades here, click on the cogwheel, and then download the grades as CSV. Okay, and that will, I'll just do that right here real quick. Download all the grades. It came up over here in the bottom left-hand corner. And as you're taking these grades, one last thing. Come on, Excel, you can do it. One last thing that you want to do, and I know I don't have a lot of grades here. By the way, this is really nice. Click right here in the corner to select the entire spreadsheet. And then when you are in between two columns, you see that little splitter thing? Just double click, and then it resizes all of your columns to the right size. So that's a nice little feature for you to use if you haven't used that before. Make sure that these names line up in Infinite Campus like they line up here. So in this case, we have first name, last name. Classroom is coming before Broyles, so I would have to change that around. So I'd insert here, and then just drag this up, and now have it in alphabetical order. Okay, so be sure to double check that. Students that come into your classroom late, maybe because they came in at day 4, day 5, or they came in later in the year, they will show up at the bottom of your import for your last names. Their names will, so they won't be alphabetical. Okay, guys, I know that was 2.5 hours. That was a lot of information. Your minds are probably exploding. I do hope that you got something from this, and I hope that I've been able to show you something, hopefully, that will help you with all this that you've learned today. So I'm going to go back to my slide deck. Let's see if I can find it over here. Let's see. Here we go. I'm going to drag that over. Come on, drag with me. There we go. And I'm going to open this up to questions. Yeah, how do you get help? Remember, we have that live learning sessions. When you have questions, questions will come up. You know, feel free to do that. But again, test this out with your colleagues. Test it out with your fellow teachers. You know, Zooming with them, getting links to work inside Google Classroom or whatever, and see how that works, okay? All right, thank you guys. Appreciate it, and we'll be in touch. If you need anything, just check out with us. See you guys. Bye.